Hi, algebra students. Let's take a look at what we got in store this week. We're talking about slope this week. Slope is sometimes referred to as rate of change, and sometimes we call it rise over run. I know you've done slope before, so this week in our lesson, we're going to do a little bit of practice working with it. Slope is basically how steep something is, and sometimes we refer to that to just describe to you what it would look like as the steepness of a roof or a hill as you're driving. If you're going uphill or downhill, um, you would have a measure of steepness. And then you often see this picture over here on the right of the little man skiing, right? He's going down a slope. So we'll start off by doing a quick review of the coordinate grid and talking about the vocabulary, the quadrants, and how to identify them. And then we'll practice plotting a few points. And then we'll move right into finding slope. We'll first talk about lines that what no slope looks like and what an undefined slope looks like. And then we're going to start by practicing looking at rise over run on a graph, because if you have a graph of a line, it's easier to just count rise over run than to use the slope formula. But of course, you guys in algebra, you need to be very proficient with the slope formula. And I know you've seen this before because it's covered in 7th grade, and a lot of you guys had accelerated math last year, and some of you even had pre-algebra. And I also have 2 students in this class that had algebra last year, so they're repeating algebra just to get a better foundation. And so all of you have used the slope formula, but you don't use it very much. And it's one of those formulas that's a little bit confusing to look at because it's got all these letters in it, and then it's a minus problem, so you're dealing with integers. So we're going to practice finding slope, and then I'll have a little activity for you at the end to make sure that you know how to find the slope of a line. So in closing, when we talk about slope, the word slope actually means how steep something is. But in algebra, what we're really looking at is what the equation looks like, the linear equation looks like when you graph it on the coordinate grid, and how steep or not steep that line is. We've been having great attendance at our Algebra Google Meets, and I'm so happy about that. I want all of you guys to come every week, and there are no students that just miss a lot. But each week there's a couple that don't come, but then the next week they come. So I do have a few out. This week we're on track to having perfect attendance. So I hope that all of you guys can make it and keep our numbers up there. If you haven't done your iReady lesson yet, please do it. We're off to a great start there too. About half of you have already got 1 lesson done. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is you do have 8 due this quarter. So you can do all 8 if you want and just be done with it. And so I don't know, that's what I would do as a student. I would get in there and just knock them out and then say, oh, God, iReady's done. Although I do know that you algebra students have tough lessons in there because you're at the end of the program. Every one of you is. So it might be in your best interest to just do 1 per week, and then you can relax and move on to your assignments. I'll see you in class. Bye.